All right, guys, welcome back to CBTV Idaho. My name is Tyson. I'm your video journalist for Construction Business TV in the East Idaho area. I left a little teaser this morning that I was going to be on site live today for the media tour of the construction process of the Idaho Falls Police Department in downtown Idaho Falls. Had a little bit of trouble going live. I pre-recorded it. That will be posted later today. But I was able to get everything figured out to where we could go live to have a special one-on-one interview with one of the, I'm sorry, tell me your position with this.
I'm a project manager.
Project manager, and tell me your name.
Arden Smith.
Arden Smith, construction manager for which?
Ormond Builders.
Ormond Builders. Excellent. How did you come along with being involved in this project?
Our projects are assigned as we get them assigned by our CEO, Don Ormond, to different areas. And so it just depends if our fit is good. Just came off of an airport project here in Idaho Falls, and so had time to get this one in right behind that. So it worked out well timing wise. So
you were also working with the Idaho Falls Airport?
Correct.
Okay. What were you working on over there?
They did a remodel and added some gates and different things, so yeah.
Of course. So Ormond Builders, correct?
Correct.
Are you guys local to the Idaho State?
Yeah, we have one office, our home office here in Idaho Falls, over toward the airport, yes, on North Skyline.
Okay. So if you can maybe give a teaser of a little bit of an overview on what we saw during the tour today.
Okay. Of course, this is the construction of the Idaho Falls Police Facility, and they call it the complex, the police complex, and they have basically it'll be the first time they're under one roof, and so we were pleased to get the job. It's a multi-million-dollar job, about $25 million or $24 million job, and it's close to our home office, so we like those kind of jobs. We've been at it since about April of last year. The first thing we had to do was clean up the old stockyard that's been here since 1936, and there was a lot of concrete and old timbers and trails and things, and we cleaned all that up, and then we started building the building in last fall, built through the winter, and we're at where we are right now as far as ready for sheetrock and starting some of the finishes, acoustic ceilings and things like that are going in, so we're ready for millwork. We'll start that within another 3 or 4 weeks, and we're doing some floor finishes, sealed concrete, things like that.
Okay. And yeah, I pass this road pretty often, and that's one thing that I did notice, that you guys were continuing to build through the wintertime, where most construction companies, I would say, kind of shut it down for the wintertime, because the winters here can be a little bit unaccommodating for construction workers.
Sometimes. And there's certain things you can do in the winter, but things that have to do with concrete and CMU block and things like that are a little bit more troublesome. But we pushed through because of the schedule. We'll make the schedule so we can get completed on time. We needed to push straight through.
So whatever you could do, you were able to do, because you had a tight deadline. We were told that you guys are on track to open by next April. Is that correct?
Our construction will complete before that. We'll probably complete right after the first of the year, and then they'll be moving sections over here as was explained over the next few months, starting from some stuff in December and January and February, right in through April.
Right, because they're going to be consolidating between several locations under one roof. Is it 4 or 5 locations?
I think they're under, that's a question for them, but I think it's probably at least 5 locations that they're in right now, and they'll be able to put all that under one roof. And kind of as we went through, you can see that they kind of compartmentalized inside the building and say this area is for detectives, this area is for the officers and the day officers and all that. So they have different areas of the building set aside for different sections, for different operations.
Okay. And so what is have you guys, your Ormond Builders, have you handled the construction of a police facility like this before?
We've done all kinds of construction. We've been at it for a long time. I've been with Ormond for about 40 years. So
for 40 years?
Yeah. And so we've done a lot. We've done stuff in Arizona and Oregon, a lot of stuff in northern Idaho, and So we've been around, stuff over in Wyoming too. So we've been the distance, but we like close to home. But yeah, we've been at it for a long time, and we've done a lot of construction work, every type, jails to hospitals to schools to police stations, to office buildings. We've done a lot.
I bet it's nice to be able to come home for a home cooked meal at the end of the day.
It is nice to be close to home. Yeah, we like those.
Yes. Trying to think, you mentioned like what could you talk about construction wise, some of the key differences in putting together a facility like this compared to something else you've done, like a remodel of the airport, for example?
Both of the projects had a lot of security in them, and this has a lot of security, so they want to make sure that they control all the evidence, and that's one of the areas that they have in evidence storage. So it's all tagged and properly handled so that it'll be good evidence. And then a lot of security on the doors. There's different specialty areas, automotive investigation, so they pull an auto into the building and they can do investigation on it. And so they didn't have some of these things before, as I explained, and so now they'll have them in this building. But as we mentioned, there's a lot of, with the building, there's a lot of material that comes from everywhere to the building. And as we mentioned, the Faraday room is a metal box with shielding in it that comes out of Texas. And so we have different areas, different parts of the building that are manufactured different areas, and they come to Idaho Falls here to be installed.
That's excuse me. That's one thing that you mentioned, that I heard you mention there at the end of the tour, that really kind of stuck out to me, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about it. You mentioned the materials that come together to build a facility like this. It's not just things that we find in our backyard here in Idaho.
No, it comes from all over the place. You almost in doing a building, you almost have every type of material involved in doing a building. This building has a lot of uniqueness to it. We have, for example, the contractor that's doing the composite panels that will go on the outside of the building on these eyebrows that we can see behind us. That's coming out of Louisiana, so there's a lot of different places. The material was manufactured in Texas, shipped to Louisiana to be manufactured into panels, and then it'll come out here and be installed. So it's kind of it affects a lot of different parts of the country when you build a building. It's not just stuff that you get here in Idaho Falls, it's stuff all over the place. And the good thing about a building, like say, there's about every aspect of construction material is involved in a building of a building. A lot of technology in any building that you build today. There's a lot of technology. There's a lot. We have specialized rooms for server rooms that have to be cooled and correct, secure for servers. And the Faraday area has its own server. It has a special room for servers in that area, so it has to be separate from the other. So there's a lot of compartmentalization in the building, what they've done out here, yeah. And again, materials coming from everywhere involved, yeah.
That is a really cool thing to think about when you think of a construction project not only benefiting the local contractors, the local blue-collar workers, but it affects people across the country as well for good.
Yeah.
And on that same note, we talked about like the contractor, the subcontractors that you brought on to build this facility, and how you guys were fortunate enough to be able to keep all that work within the state, give that work to
We have a lot of local contractors involved. Our mechanical's out of Pocatello. Our electrician that's doing a huge amount of work here is right out of Idaho Falls here. So we have a lot of our plumbers out of Rexburg. We have a lot of local people that are involved in the project. So we have a few specialty subs that are further out than that, but a lot of good ones that are really local to this area. Our drywaller is very local, lives here in Idaho Falls, and so we have a lot of subcontractors that their work is here in this area. Yeah.
And excuse me, need some water. And I understand that wasn't by design. That's not something that you can really coordinate. Just having your work be local, you need to make it available to anybody. But you were fortunate enough that everything you needed was right here.
Yeah, and some of the. Of course, this was put out competitive bid, and so we put together a bid, and we had a lot of contractors bid to us in different areas. So then we have to get a complete package together, of course, so we have everything from earthwork all the way through roofing through the final completion of pavement, all that stuff. So we have good local subcontractors. We really appreciate their work. A lot of them have done other jobs with us. So this is not unusual that, for example, our drywaller that we have, he was on the airport too. So it's the same firm. So we have a good following of subcontractors, and we really appreciate them.
So you've built a really good working network and working relationship with a lot of the workers in this community.
We hope so, yeah. We try to.
Yeah. I think I could probably talk to you for another 20 minutes on this. This is fascinating. But I think probably the best thing to leave it off of, what I like to ask a lot of people that I interview on this construction-based channel is maybe more on a personal level, like what inspires you to do this line of work? What got you into construction, and what keeps you getting up in the morning to do things with your hands that probably get bruised during the day often? But
I don't get to do hands-on work anymore. It's mostly a pen or a pencil in my hand. But yeah, I've been doing construction since high school. I really like it. It is satisfying. This building will be here long after I'm gone, along with other buildings that I've done. And you can drive through any area, like even through Idaho Falls, and see things that you had a hand in. We built the Taylor View Junior High years ago, and it's probably been 20 years ago.
Taylor what?
Taylor View.
Taylor View.
Yeah. Okay. Down on South Holmes. Yeah. So projects that we've done a long time ago are still around, and we appreciate that. So that's probably the one thing that's most rewarding is for the construction industry. Say that building's going to be here for a long time, and there's going to be a lot of use, the good use out of that building over the lifetime of the building.
It's kind of a sense of legacy, I'm sure.
I think so. Yeah.
And I like the way you put that. How you're doing almost an ultimate good in the world, an ultimate good in the community, because you're building something that's going to continue to help people long after you're not around.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a great thing to leave off of. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to this behind-the-scenes interview of the construction of the Idaho Falls Police Department. Excuse me. It's a hot day today, and I wish I'd brought some water. But if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to Construction Business TV. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. You're probably viewing us on one of those channels live. We're also on Instagram. You can follow us there as well. Thank you guys so much for your time and support, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.